Nabeel shared a story of how he got to Hawaii, which I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version of it. He had a heart attack at a young age in California, and then took his stressful life and left it behind, and then moved to Hawaii, and he was like all zen because Hawaii, it just couldn't be a more like tropical, calm paradise. And I like New York City. I just moved to Jersey, but I could not be in a more stressful. So the yin and yang was going to be, I was pre-heart attack and he was post-heart attack zen, and the zany antics that would ensue between the two of us in the kind of odd couple staging would have worked. But that was just the drunken idea. And then the pandemic gave us the ability to actually record one because we were there.
Make some lemons out of lemonade, lemonade out of lemons. That's awesome. That's great. So tell me, because I definitely want to unpack some Nomad Futurist stuff, right? Because I told some folks that I was going to be doing this with you, and people would ask me a question like, "Can you ask him this? Can you ask him that?" I'm like, "Look, I'm not going to remember all that shit."
Who are you talking to about us?
Everybody. Everybody knows who you guys are, right? So my thing is, first of all, how long ago? How old were you when you had a heart attack?
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
Holy
Thanks,
shit.
Phil.
Is this a genetic thing, or is this
well, I mean, of course they
stress?
can say that it could be genetic. Yeah, medical science is going to always say that it's certainly genetic. It was certainly very much so stress related and driven. The first two heart attacks were the same day, and that's when I was 38.
38 and heart attacks, 2 in one day, huh?
Yeah. And
how'd you know?
I did not. I had no idea, and it was just sheer luck that I was actually sitting in my war room. We were going live with the human capital management application, and that in itself was quite stressful. So during the whole process, I just felt like I was getting tired. I'm typically, or at least I used to be very talkative before I met Phil.
That's awesome, man. You guys are both perfect for that.
So all of a sudden, my admin, she noticed that I was actually not speaking as much, or was not necessarily that involved in the whole go live for the project. So she's like, "Well, there's something wrong. You should go check at the clinic." I'm like, "Nah, who's gonna? Yeah, I just probably am tired. I've pulled a couple of late nighters. I should just go get some rest." So I started driving back home, and I ended up in the hospital. I drove myself to the hospital. I have never been to that hospital. Didn't know that hospital ever existed.
But you said you knew you had to go to one.
Yeah, it was probably the 6th or 7th instinct, whatever it is, right? Just led me to the hospital. And when I got to the hospital, they asked me, like, who was I there to see? I'm like, something is wrong with me. I don't know what it is. They started taking the blood pressure, and I was at 190 or 170.
Sounds high. So
it is quite high. And the lady that was taking the blood pressure is like, knocking on the machine like it's going to fix itself.
This can't be right.
Yeah, it's not right. So then she did it a couple other times, and it was the same number. And then that's when they started calling the doctors and the nurses. They started doing blood work, and by that time I actually had one. And the second one hit maybe about a half hour later, and that's when I was dead. So
oh, wow. Did they have you hooked up to like the EKG machine by then?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so they were catching it. They saw it coming, and they
probably used and that's when you hear like,
yeah. So that's when I flatlined. I was out for 4 minutes and 19 seconds at that point in time.
No shit. Yeah. Where was this at?
That was in California.
What part? Like L.A., Orange County?
No. It's small Hickwell, Fresno, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you lived at the time?
Yeah, I was a CIO at a company down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens to someone when they have a heart attack at 38? Do you go back to that job fairly quickly, or is that when you package yourself?
Yeah, that was quite interesting, actually. So I, after they let me out of the hospital, I ended up going to Monterey for a week just to figure out, what am I doing? Why did it happen to me? I mean, not necessarily getting the depression state, but just trying to figure out what happened, why it happened, and how we're going to get out of the situation. So at that point in time, I made the decision that I had to find something else to do, and the corporate rat race I was done with.
And then
that's when I called the CEO of the company and said, "Well, thank you very much. I'm going to give you about a week for a smooth exit. If there's any projects that need my attention or they need to be passed on to somebody else, I'll take full ownership and responsibility of it, and then I'm gone." And yeah, that was it. I packed my bags and relocated to Hawaii.